If you clicked on this video, you're probably between the ages of 14 and 22 years old and want to start making money online. And I'm here to tell you that you're in the right place. I'm not going to talk about crypto or some get-rich-quick scheme, so if that's what you're here for, then you can just click off. Instead, I'm going to give you the exact blueprint that I've built up over the years for growing and monetizing content creation on social media, and I'm going to lay it out for you guys as a 30-day plan that you could start as soon as today. For context, I have helped scale multiple social media pages to over 1 million followers combined, with my very own pages having nearly 220,000 subscribers on YouTube and about 100k on TikTok. I also made nearly $150,000 in 2025 at only 19 years old, solely based on these pages. By the end of the video, you'll have your successful niche picked out, you'll learn how to find viral video ideas backed up by real data, and you'll have a 30-day checklist to make sure that you're following all the right steps in order to grow successfully. Alright, so the very first thing that you want to do is find the right niche to make content about. Although you could just go into a niche that pays really well, like talking about finance or tech, you should probably go into a niche that you have some knowledge about if this is your very first account. You don't want to pick something that just pays a lot of money if you don't know anything about it, and especially if you don't enjoy making content about it. You're gonna burn yourself out so quickly that getting past those early content stages is gonna be nearly impossible. So I would say that you pick a niche that you enjoy talking about and something that you at least have some knowledge about. You also should probably be more specific with what you pick and size it down into something called a sub-niche. This is basically a niche inside of the big niche that you're interested in. For example, my main channel that I make all my money from is all about sports. However, right when I started out, I focused on mainly baseball content so I could first appeal to just that smaller audience. Now, once my channel grew bigger and I had more of a following, that's when I started testing out making content on other sports, and it seemed to work. But in the very beginning at least, you need to size down and be very specific on who your target audience is. Okay, so now that you have your niche picked out, you gotta figure out if you want to make long form or short form content. I'm now just starting to get experience and have real success with long form, and I've been doing this for a while. So if you're a complete beginner, I would highly recommend starting out with shorts first, as the videos are much easier and quicker to create, and you'll learn a lot more in a faster time. If you guys want more tips about long form content in the future, just let me know down below. Okay, so far we found our sub niche and we know that we're gonna do short form content. Now the next step is probably the most important step of the whole journey. I want you guys to take some time and do research on YouTube itself, trying to find a few different channels in your exact niche. For this research, the channels you can find can be a little bit more broad, but they at least have to be in your main niche. I want you to find channels that are not the biggest channels in your niche where they get a lot of views no matter how good or bad their content is. You need to find channels that are smaller but pulling a lot of views on their videos and save those channels as a reference. And once you've found at least a few of those kinds of channels, you should try to start finding patterns between all of them and see if the highest viewed videos on those channels are corresponding between each other. If they are, then you know you found a gold mine. If multiple channels in your niche are all posting about the same thing and all of those videos are getting good views, why would a video that you make about it not also get good views? It's honestly just kind of common sense. Instead of guessing if your next video is going to perform well, this pretty much guarantees that the idea is going to work, which is honestly one of the most important aspects of short form content. Now, even though this is the best way to get your video ideas, doing this for every single video that you post is honestly going to get pretty difficult after a little while. You could do it, but once you post hundreds of videos to your page, you're probably going to get a little bit stuck. So I'm going to put you guys onto a method that has literally saved me countless hours trying to find ideas for videos. You may think it's a little strange at first, but just hear me out for 1 second. It's to use AI to do the dirty work for you. I know, it's AI. What can it do differently that I can't do myself? Well, if you give AI specific information and ask it to analyze an entire channel that you want to reference, it could put a list together of the most viewed videos on that channel, the best performing videos on that channel, and really whatever you want. And once you do that a few times for a few different channels in your niche, you can then compare them all together, and you'll have a list of the best performing videos based on thousands of videos across multiple different channels. You can then pick out the video ideas that you want to recreate, which have the highest chance at going viral again based on real data. Now, I know that was a lot, so let's just do a tiny recap. So far, we've chosen our niche, chosen to do short form content, and figured out a way to come up with a banger video idea. All three of these steps are super important, but now we get to the real challenge, actually putting these videos together. Now, even though I'm not the most talented editor in the world, I can tell you that this is going to take some time to get used to. You gotta be able to come up with a good hook to grab the viewer's attention as soon as the video starts. You gotta be a good good storyteller so the viewer won't just scroll past after the first 5 seconds. You gotta be a good visual storyteller, making sure the visuals on the screen look good and make sense. And you have to make sure to be using the right style of music and sound effects depending on the style of the video that you're creating. All 4 of those editing tactics are crucial to get good at if you want to truly succeed on this platform. Now, sadly, there really isn't a one-size-fits-all type of editing style that always goes viral. However, what I can tell you is this: the faster paced the video, the better. People watching short-form content are always looking for the first reason to swipe away from your video, so if they get bored even in the slightest way, they most likely are gonna scroll right past. This is why the pacing is so important, because if you don't give the audience time to think about if they want to scroll or not because your video just keeps moving and moving, they're most likely gonna stick around. Now again, there is not a single best editing strategy that works for every channel. However, if you're completely lost on what style to choose or even just where to start, always resort back to the data. Go back to the couple of channels that you found in your niche that have those videos that did really well and study them. What did they do for their intro? How fast paced was their editing? How long was their video? And when did they offer the payout in the video? These are all things that you can learn and master if you just spend some time studying your competition. If one of the videos that you're studying performed better than another, maybe try first copying that editing style to the best of your ability and just see what happens. The beginning of a new channel is always going to be the hardest part. However, it also gives you the ability to experiment to find out what works for you. Now, overall, that's pretty much the full blueprint that I follow. However, I want to give you guys just a little extra sauce with a full 30-day plan that you can follow in order to actually get started with this and not just keep it as an idea in your head. Most people aren't failing because they're not smart, they're failing because they never stay consistent long enough to even give themselves a chance. You gotta realize that you're a brand new channel on the biggest media platform in the world, so it might take a little bit of time to see some good traction. But if you follow what I'm about to lay out, you're gonna be doing all the right things to see some real success. Alright, first off, you gotta truly commit to your one niche and one format. And when I say commit, I mean don't change it after 3 videos because you didn't get views. That's literally what everyone does, and then they wonder why nothing ever works. You gotta pick your sub niche, pick the style of videos you're gonna make, and stick to it for the full month no matter what. Then for the first week, your only job is to set the foundation and get your reps in. You need to spend time building that list of reference channels, pulling ideas from what's already working, and creating a simple idea bank, I guess, so you're never stuck staring at your phone thinking what to post. And once you have that, that's when you really start to make the content. Oh, also, it does not have to be perfect yet. In the first week, your goal is to post enough so you can start learning how this actually works, because you're not going to become a master at hooks, pacing, and storytelling by watching videos and taking notes. You become a master by actually creating the content. Now for week 2, this is where you start to tighten everything up. You need to stop changing your whole style every upload and just improve one thing at a time. Try to make your first 2 seconds hit a little harder, or cut the dead air, or tell the story clearer. Improve just one thing in every upload that you make, and you'll start to learn pretty quickly. Week 3 is where you start to let the data tell you what to do next. By then, you should have at least 1 or 2 videos that clearly do better than the rest. Some people see that and instantly switch topics or switch niches. Don't do that. If a topic works, make more of it. If a format works, run it back again. Double down on what is already working, and try to post as much as you can in this week, all in that same style. You should also try to analyze your data way more this week, and you want to be looking at 2 main metrics. You want to be looking at your average view duration, or your AVD, and your swipe rate. Normally, videos that have a chance at going viral have an average view duration of almost the entire video and a swipe through rate of at least 80%. So when you're looking at your analytics on your videos and see these numbers are getting better, you're doing good. If not, then you gotta change something up in the video creation process. And now for week 4, this is where the momentum probably will start if you stayed consistent for the past 21 days. You're really not guessing anymore, so you take whatever topic and format perform best, and you just keep making more videos in that same lane. You use that same structure, but just use different examples. That's how you start to build an audience that actually wants to come back and watch your content. And so, after the 30 days are up, you should have at least 20 to 30 uploads on your channel, a format that is starting to work, and a list of more ideas so you're never stuck again. This is how you get the ball rolling in the correct way. Now, if you want to be simultaneously posting your videos to TikTok and Instagram at the same time, you can do that as well. However, I'm really not an expert on how either of those platforms work, so I really don't want to give you any advice on that. But it won't hurt to do that if that's what you want to do. And yeah, that's pretty much all for today's video. I really hope you found some value from what I had to say, and if you did, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. If not, it's okay, no worries. But yeah, that's all for today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one.